My name's Stu Kalkami. I'm a parent of two daughters, one of which is, well, both of them's playing volleyball, but the older ones we're training. What drew me to PowerCore 360 is being that my kids right now we're a volleyball family, getting interested and getting them to play volleyball. And so a lot of our feeds, a lot of everything that we're looking on social media is all volleyball related. And so, everybody's trying to get the upper hand and get better and provide better stuff for your kids, better training, whatever it might be. And so, you come across this, obviously Coach Billy doing his thing. And so you just keep investigating and you go and you look at, what it's all about. I don't think anybody really targets the exact mechanics of, what Coach Billy is teaching in this particular movement, hitting the ball. And so you just keep investigating and say, well, I'll give it a try. Also the messaging about, the safety. And, in volleyball, as I'm learning, is it's not a symmetrical sport. You're not developing your sport your body evenly, the musculature evenly. And so when Billy talks about the safety and being safe and teaching proper mechanics and the longevity of these joints and muscles, really what I was interested in, and what kind of drew me to that. And initially it was pretty difficult in that she seen her teammates and peers progressing along with what they're doing, just getting more mature, getting older, getting stronger. And because she is changing everything about her swing in this case, she kind of took a step back, and now it's starting to catch up, and all of those, basically reprogramming those movements is starting to show some dividends here, and it's starting to reveal itself. And I think that's where she's starting to get excited, as her mind and her body gets reprogrammed, which is what I would say is the right way, both from a efficiency standpoint as well as a safety standpoint. That once that kicks in, it's gonna be, I have faith that it's gonna be amazing once that aha moment does kick in. Yeah, well, I think because I never played a sport where it involved throwing. I was always a defensive guy in football, so we're trying to get the guys that's throwing balls, and so I never really was in tune with what the mechanics of throwing. But you hear it from day one with these these kids playing baseball, and their coaches, they're limited to pitches. So naturally I'm going to say, well, it must have to do with overuse of that muscle or that joint, whatever it is. And so because Coach Billy comes in and he breaks it down, saying this is why kids or adults have issues with these joints and throwing and these repetitive motions, because of this. And so in his effort to try and make it healthier for these kids, he explains why. He talks about the connecting to the scapula, connecting to the rib cage, and then again, the whole longevity thing. I'm not trying to create one 13-year-old All-American right now. I don't need her to it's like when it really starts to count, as they start getting to their later teens or mid-teens. Obviously, as parents, we want to see the big stage right now. But we're saying, well, the longevity is what's going to provide that, hopefully, for us at whatever level she decides to play at. Even if she decides to play, at least we know she's gonna be able to perform at her highest capacity that she can, as it relates to health and fitness. And I had a mentor, a good friend of mine who's also a coached all over. I think he's in the XFL now. His name's Dennis McKnight. And he has a saying that he uses. He has a bunch of sayings. One of them is which is painstaking attention to detail. And you hear people loosely throw that term around, attention to detail. A lot of people don't really truly understand the concept of that meaning. And I think as a coach, there's good coaches out there and there's bad coaches. We all know that. And so when we look at that idea about the attention to detail, I think Billy really covers that, and I can appreciate that. In just the movements, he really talks about your elbow, the height of it, whether and even if it's off an inch or two, he'll make that correction. Because in that Masterclass, we can go in and we go on live Zoom, or we'll upload it to the website, and he reviews it, and then he comes in and makes comments. And his comments are so specific that from a coach, from the things that I'm aware of and the things that I like to deal with, It's just that attention to detail. So when he says, your wrist should be in this position or your elbow should be here, when you're turning back, make sure your elbow's not coming too far back in your chest. I mean, that's getting to the nuts and bolts of it. I think I really appreciate just the attention to detail and the corrections that he makes. It makes it a lot easier, I would say, from a parent perspective or even an athlete's perspective, whether you're a teenager or a young adult. He puts it in a way that is in layman terms where you can, oh, that's what he means. And then you can execute the movement that he's trying to coach and teach you. Yeah, I would recommend PowerCore 360 to other rotational athletes, because what the system teaches or is providing is, and Billy will talk about hip and shoulder separation. And in any sport, hips are your most important, whether it's golfing, throwing a ball of any sort, football, baseball, swinging a bat, or in our case that I'm interested in a swing. I think it's very critical to learn that use of your hips. A lot of people don't understand what using your hips mean, and I think Billy's and his system really breaks that down, what he calls hip shoulder separation. Okay, yeah, I would recommend the PowerCore 360 Masterclass, where you're going to learn actually how to use your body, use your hips, use your shoulders in a way that's going to be effective and getting the best results for the sport that you're playing. And so overall, I think with Coach Billy, he will teach you those movements. And what is also impressive is how easy he makes it to follow based on his explanation, how to execute the program. From a coach's standpoint, all my life I've coached other people's kids. And, when you see your athletes that you coach execute exactly what you're coaching and you see success, whether it's, in whatever sport, it's very gratifying. And then now when you implement that and you see your own kid executing what you teaching, it just validates all of that energy, effort, time, money, everything you put into this, it validates it. And so I think that's what's most gratifying, is being able to take your knowledge as a teacher, as a coach, and apply it to your kid and see them execute it, and just get super excited about it, and also what the future holds.